Hi ladies, welcome back to the How to Meet and Keep a Great Guy 5-Day Challenge. I am so glad that you are here with me today in day 2. Day 1 was a huge success, and I know we've had a couple of extra people join that missed yesterday. That is totally okay. You can go back through, you can watch the video from yesterday, you can engage, and we are all here with you. I'm glad that you're here on the challenge. There are over 150 women in this challenge, and we are going to rock it. I am so glad that there are 150 more women out there who are gonna know how to meet and keep a great guy, who are gonna know the secret to avoiding commitment phobic men and getting into relationships with men who are really gonna love and cherish you. So give yourself a big round of applause for being here, for taking the step, and for really going for it. You deserve it and you're worth it. Before we jump into today's teaching material, I just want to remind you a little bit about how the challenge works. So every morning at 9 a.m., you get an email from me in your inbox with your activity for the day. So if you haven't done it already, that is totally cool. You can go back and complete the assignment at any time. Once you complete that assignment, go ahead and post it in the Facebook group. Your responses are going to help everyone in the challenge. They're going to help us support you more, and they're going to give other women ideas of things that they need to know, right? Everybody has different blind spots, so the more we learn from each other, the more we help each other, the more we all grow, the better we are as women. So make sure that you share. The second thing that happens every day, so first you get the email at 9 a.m. and then at noon every day of the challenge, I go live like I am right now to answer any questions you have about the topic for the day and to do some teaching. I'm going to get really in depth with you about the topic. So today's topic is all the time and energy that you're wasting on commitment phobic men. We are going to talk about the real cost of dating a commitment phobe. And you might be wondering, well, Kirsten, why does it matter? I already know commitment phobic men are bad for me. Here's the deal, is commitment phobic men are the scourge of the dating world for women. And here is why, because it feels really good to be with them. And part of the reason that a lot of women get stuck in relationships that are not great for them or where they're getting strung along by a man who's never going to commit is because being with him feels good. And so your brain tries to make it make sense. Your brain tries to find reasons you should stay when really he's not good for you. And once we get really clear about the cost of dating a commitment phobe and you have that information moving forward, it makes it a lot easier for you to make a good decision that you need to make for yourself when the time comes. And I want you to be able to make that decision. So I know today might not seem like it, but it's actually probably the most important day of the challenge. So I'm going to take a minute now to talk a little bit about what the real costs of dating a commitment phobic man are. And before I do that, I just want to give you a little refresher of some examples of commitment phobic men. So commitment phobic men are those guys who just want to be friends, or the ones who aren't sure what they want yet, or the friends with benefits, or the guys who are still married, or the guys who you don't hear from for months and then they just reappear, or the guys who say this is my least favorite thing, but I've heard it and I'm sure you've heard it too. I really like you, you're super sexy, you're super sweet, but I'm not looking for something right now. But whatever it is, what they're really saying is you're awesome, but I'm just not into you. And a lot of times as women, what we hear is you're awesome and I might be into you later. Okay? And that's not what they're saying. All right? So these are the guys I'm helping you avoid with this challenge. These are the guys that are going to break your heart, and this is what we're trying to get rid of. So let's talk about the real cost of dating these guys. Okay? So I gave you an assignment this morning to make a T-chart, which a T-chart's really simple. You just draw a line across the top of the paper and a line down the center of the paper. And on one side, I asked you to make a list of all of the commitment phobic men that you know. And on the other side, I asked you to make a list of the time that you've wasted on them. And I want you to think about it like this. I want you to think about it in a sense of all the time you spend texting them, the time you spend calling them, the time you spend gossiping to your girlfriends about them, which is probably a lot of time, the time you spend worrying if you're ever going to hear from them again, the time you spend wondering what's going on with them, the time you spend chatting with them on social media that doesn't lead to a date, the time you spend stalking them on social media, trying to figure out what it is that's going on with them, right? That time is a huge cost to you because that is all time you could either be taking care of yourself, pursuing your own goals, or even better, you could be spending that time with a commitment-oriented man who really wants to be with you. You could be spending that time with someone who loves you, but instead you're spending all that time on a man who's never going to commit to you and who's never going to give you what you want, okay? And when you start to really look at how much time you're spending on these guys, it's a huge amount of time. Now, the cost of dating a commitment-phobic man goes beyond your time. Think about your money. How often have you been on a date with one of these guys where you've paid the bill? How often have you given up a shift at work because you're going to spend time with one of these guys, or because you're upset because they hurt your heart again and you just can't go in today? I know some of you have done this, right? And money you've spent on cute outfits to go out with them and all the makeup you wasted on them and etc. There's a lot of time and money that you've wasted on these guys. All the time you spend in therapy talking to a therapist about these guys who aren't going to commit, right? This is a real cost to you. But the biggest cost of all, beyond the time, the money, the energy, is your heart. You've spent all of this time keeping yourself from a real relationship. All of that time and energy could have gone into a commitment. If you'd spent that much time with another man, you'd probably be in a serious committed relationship right now, or engaged, or something like that, right? Your life would be very different if instead of wasting time on unavailable men, you were spending time with the right guys who want to commit to you. And that, my friends, is the biggest cost of all. You're costing yourself a long-term love relationship. And I know that you're in this challenge because that's what you really want, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to get off this video, I want you to think about everything I just said, and I want you to make a list for yourself as quantifiable as possible. Like, I spend 5 hours a week texting these guys. I've spent $400 on drinks at the bar. Whatever it is, I want you to get really real about it, and I want you to get really real about all the time you've spent with these guys that you haven't spent with men who are going to love you. And when you get that list down, I know this is a big list, when you get it down, I want you to share it with the group so that we can all back you up in your intention to really change this pattern and be with someone who's really going to love you, okay? If you are seeing this video and you haven't signed up for the challenge yet, that's no problem. You can still join in. The link is in the description for this video, and you can sign up. Make sure that you sign up because that way you get the daily email assignments from me along with some other bonuses. So sign up or invite a friend if you have a friend who you know really needs to hear this info. You probably do. Invite them along, and then look for me again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. where we start our day 3 assignment.